Hello, welcome back. That wasn't me farting, by the way. That is the sound of the underground. No, it's the sound of the Baccarat leather seats. Because I'm starting this video sat in the back of the Clio, and it's hotter than the sun in the back here. This is basically an insight into what it was like to be a child in the 80s or 70s in the back of their parents' car on the way to Cornwall with no air conditioning. It's roasting in here. But what I will say about the Clio is that the rear windows, go almost all the way to the bottom. Just a small lip to let you know that the glass is still there. And look, keep fit windows as well. And they are quite stiff. I'm digressing already, and we haven't even started the video yet. This is the long overdue update on what the previous owner's daughter christened Beautiful, for obvious reasons, which is kind of timely because the latest club, it sounds like advertising already, so skip forward the next 30 odd seconds, however long it's going to be. But the latest Club Petroblog prize draw is a chance to win a bespoke illustration by the talented illustrator and designer Russell Wallace. And all you've got to do is nominate your most beautiful Petrobloggy car, and there's a good chance it could be that. But actually, I don't get a say in the vote because it's a prize draw. But do check out the website for more information. Breaking with tradition, I have done a waffle and bunk run-in order to this. There's no script because I feel that if you write a script, it sort of lures the watcher into a full sense of security, thinking they might see something polished and brilliant. And as we know, again, that wasn't me farting, that was the seats. As we know, there's nothing polished about these videos. They are mediocre at best, bordering on rubbish. But there is a running order because I don't want to miss anything out, because there's a lot to say on this, on Beautiful. So I'm going to jump out of the Clio before I turn into a roast tomato. Roast tomato. I suppose you can get roast tomatoes, can you? No, it'd be fried tomatoes. The first thing I want to say is a big thank you, a big long overdue thank you to my postman and watcher of this rubbish channel, Wayne, who, day after I posted the video, the kind of miserable, oh God, why am I bothering with this Peugeot video, he turned up, not with virtual hobnobs, but real hobnobs. And it's taken all of my willpower not to open these. Wayne, next time you're passing, pop in for a cup of tea. We'll have a hobnob together, which is something you don't hear me say very often. Yes, so reverting back to my notebook of happiness. The really positive news, and from my point of view, kind of one massive hurdle out the way, is that the brakes are done. Now, hopefully I've got some videos or pictures to overlay on this, because the wheels are back on, as you can see. But as you can see inside there, new Brembo discs and pads. On this side, new discs, pads and caliper, because this caliper was shot to pieces. The other one salvageable. I do have a spare one for the other side, but this one was so far gone. This whole side of the car was the worst side, which is the side that was exposed to the elements when it was sat in Exmoor for, I think, 18 months to 2 years, maybe a bit longer. So the other side was protected by a conifer, or was it a conifer? Leylandi bush, I think, which kind of protected it from the worst of the weather. This side was the worst. So new brakes and discs, and on the front, new brakes, new pads and discs on the front as well. Now, if you remember from the last few videos, the brake pipes on this side, well, on the front, were, well, snapped, and that was a concern. And fortunately, the great Adam White took pity on me and came down in his Land Rover and camped in the paddocks over there in his roof tent in his Land Rover, and with the help of some new tools, look, flaring tool, cutter, and loads of copper pipe, she now has new brake pipes on the front, which was something I would never better attempt. Well, I could attempt it now I've seen it, but it's something I wanted Adam to lead the way on. So really positive. She, touch wood, the brakes are done, albeit still got to bleed them, which is straightforward enough, but obviously you've got 2 bleed nipples on the 4-pot calipers at the front, so slightly different things to do on that, but oh yeah, basically quite a straightforward job. But the next thing I want to talk about, and I think I may have mentioned this in the video where life wasn't great, and it was raining, and it felt like misery was all around. But good news, she has a new alternator. I do have the cost of it. I think I got it reasonably good value on Autodoc. It cost 280 quid, which is a fair amount of cash, but I didn't have to pay for the labour. And it's quite a straightforward job, providing you've got the right tools and you've got good access. I will say that if you are attempting it, it'll be much easier on a lift. Working underneath will be much easier. And the guy I watched on YouTube, he started off at the top and then put the car on a ramp and then worked upwards. Much easier, especially when you're trying to remove the air conditioning unit and also the alternator itself. But it is straightforward enough. Remove the ECU, release the belt tensioner, then don't remove it, just remove it from its housing, the air conditioning unit, put that to one side. I put it on an axle stand. You could also use bungee cord, just make sure it doesn't stretch the pipes. Remove the pipes to one side. That gives you access to the alternator, and it was a case of just reversing it when you're going backwards. Which brings me on to the next problem. Before I say that, we did actually get the car running with the belt on, with the alternator on, and the battery light's gone off, which, if you excuse a terrible pun, is a positive. So hopefully that's cured the battery issue. And also, you eagle-eyed viewers will notice that she has a new Bosch battery. Again, 60 quid from Autodoc. Again, that's a really good price. And I think that's the thing about this project. If you're a mechanic or a garage and you've got deadlines, 3-4 day deadlines for the customer, Autodoc isn't the answer, is it? But if you're working sort of week to week, month to month, you can afford to delay things. And Autodoc is a bit of a game of chance, isn't it? I've had parts arrive in a week. I've had parts arriving in 2.5 weeks. Yes, but unfortunately, the belt isn't holding. The tensioner itself, the tensioner spring, is worn. And only this morning, just fresh in from France via Avonmouth, is the new spring. So that's good. I thought when we're doing it, we may as well do the job properly. New spring, and also remember the bolt. I mean, again, this is my stupidity and amateurish. I didn't fathom. That's the wrong word entirely. I didn't think to get in touch with Peugeot. But look, the parts. There's the bolts I wanted, which is great. And actually, a big shout out to Truscotts of Launceston. Went across the border ventured into Cornwall with all the tourists. Basically, for those, my international viewer, Cornwall is the little bit sticking out on the left-hand side of the map down there. And this time of the year, and this is science, this is true, Cornwall drops into the sea. It kind of moves up and down like a boat. Basically, the whole of the UK are in Cornwall at the moment, which means that the Cornwall's like that. So Devon is actually slightly like that at the moment. So, bloody hell, I digress, but that is a proper digress. To the point that I can't remember where I was. Oh yeah, big shout out to Mervyn at Truscott. He's been there, done that. He knows Peugeot's left, right and centre. He's found that. The only thing we haven't found yet is the tensioner itself. Still need a new tensioner. That part's obsolete. So I'll be going on eBay. I couldn't find one on eBay earlier on, but I'll be trying other sources. So if anyone's got a tensioner and are willing to sell it to me, please let me know. Okay, seamlessly moving to the right, you'll notice that the car now has an aftermarket air filter. 406 Coupe Owners Club 4 members will recognise this as the Volvo S80 petrol air scoop, and it's going into, again, some people might have their views on this, but Adam and I thought this would be a good solution. It's 20 quid aftermarket air filter, and I think that's going to work. Again, please get in touch if it's not, if you think otherwise. But it's definitely preferable to having the elephant trunk going into the near side wheel arch, which I think is one of the dreadful things they did on the right hand side, or right hand drive for us, it's coupes. But 20 quid, hopefully that'll work. This seamless editing, I've just been back to the notebook, and the next thing on my list is the oil and filter change, which, as any mechanic, amateurish or professional, will tell you is one of the easiest jobs you can do. Remove the sump plug, drain the oil, take the filter off, put the filter on, replace the oil, job's good. Simple job, yeah? Not on this car. Which brings me on to a point about full service history, because this car is technically a one-owner car. Full service history, I think mostly, or if not all, from Peugeot main dealers, which is great. You know, it's a good selling point and it's a good thing to have in the history. But I think there's a difference between full service history and full service history plus. And plus is the kind of stuff that the little extras that make all the difference the next time you come to service the car, like copper grease on all the bolts and screws, and oil around the filter. None of that's ever been done in this car, or if it has, it's all worn away in the Exmoor drizzle. Because, and we were on a high because the brakes were done, and I actually posted something on Twitter, kind of a cryptic thing saying, I think I finally got the upper hand in my battle with the 406 Coupe. And that was famous last word. That was the Murray Walker curse, because the air filter would not move. The hand job was ineffective, unfortunately. The tool I had was no better. That just made it worse. Just damaged the filter. So went back and went on eBay. And that's one thing I will say, recommendation, at the moment, eBay's much, much cheaper and better value for money than Amazon. You know, it may be 3-day delivery rather than one if you're an Amazon Prime customer. But eBay's been so much cheaper. This thing, no dice, wasn't working. And I think that's cost £6 a Draper strap wrench. Nope, nothing was getting it off. I even tried the obvious one, which is the screwdriver through the housing, to see if that could get it off, and no joy. And at that point I was thinking, I'm really not cut out for this job, because this is one of the simple jobs. And I was thinking, well, if I can't do this, how am I going to finish this job? And I dropped a direct message to friend of the show and Club Petroblog member Kenny Smith, who came back with a recommendation for the Irwin vice grip, which isn't a cheap part. And this is said packaging for the Irwin vice grip, the original since 1924. And he said, this is what he swears by. This has never let him down. Word to that effect. Forgive me, Kenny, if I got that wrong, but I think that's pretty much what you said on Twitter. And you can see there it's being used for a oil filter. And I've got to say, it's 40 quid. I actually got it for 35. Best 35 quid I've spent on this car so far. Immediate result. And you could imagine the euphoria. It was about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock on a Sunday evening, and this thing worked. This thing did it. And I even did a little video, which is slightly embarrassing, because as I was doing the video, I was concentrating so hard on my Oscar-winning text or narration that I didn't notice that I was actually twisting it off and twisting it back on every time I pulled it. But I'm going to drop that video in now. It's what time is it, mate? 6 o'clock on Sunday night. Mm-hmm. Both of us are really tired after our festival of exceptional escapades in the Camry yesterday, and we figured, no, we're not going to sit down and watch the Grand Tour. We're gonna tackle this blooming air filter again. I don't want to swear because I don't want to get a strike against this channel. But I nearly said the F word then. I nearly said fiddlesticks about 5 seconds ago. Because this oil filter has been like the rest of the car in a nutshell, because even the oil filter has been biting back. Even the oil filter has decided that, nope, I'm not going to come off. I've watched so many videos, most of them American, from people with a lot more experience at this than I have, trying to get an oil filter off the car, and some of the tricks they've used are unbelievable. I've consulted friend and club member Kenny Smith, and he gave me some tips. I mean, this is not the first tool we bought to get this off.
clearly didn't come off with fingers or hands, because the orangutan who serviced this car before us didn't do any of the little things that I've picked up over the last year in terms of making servicing quicker and better and nicer. No copper grease has ever gone near this car. No oil has ever been put around this oil filter to make sure that the next person who comes along can get it off. So, I mean, this car has got full Peugeot service history. It just proves that full service history doesn't mean jack silly stuff, because, well, anyway. So I bought Draper tools, I bought little clips, I bought everything to get this off. And in the end, Kenny Smith on Twitter said, you need a vice grip, and he showed me the vice grip, and this was about 35 quid. This isn't a cheap tool, but it's worked. And so right now, it's 6 o'clock on Sunday night. Kenny Smith is literally my favourite person in the world. Sorry, son, your second favourite for the next 5 minutes. Kenny Smith, you are a legend. You'll be getting a big tub of hobnobs for this, because you have made my day. I think you've made my son's day as well. Because look, the oil filter's moving, and you won't believe what a relief that is, because I didn't think we were going to get to this stage. It was a nightmare. And this vice grip, I tell you, is now my favourite tool. Kenny Smith, my favourite person. We tried, oh, by the way, we did try the screwdriver trick as well. That didn't work. That was the first thing we tried. All that did was mangle the oil filter to the point you can see it now. I'm tempted to keep this oil filter and put it in a glass case as a memory of how bad this car has been to work on. And I was chatting with Alistair yesterday, who's also a Club Petroblog member at the Festival of the Unexceptional, and he's got a mate with a Peugeot 406 Coupe, and he said he finds it an absolute nightmare to work on. He said the brakes are particularly challenging. So it's good to know that I'm not the only person who suffers, but I also appreciate that I am, if the person who services before is in the orangutan, I'm not far behind it, but I do try to do things the right way. And but look, this vice grip, all it's doing now, I just realised what I'm doing now is just tighten it back up again. So I think we can take the vice grip off. And I think, look, oh my God, you're seeing this, and this is a momentous occasion. Look at this hole in the exhaust, by the way. Oh dear. But anyway, of course, this could come off from the road. Oh, it's off. It's off. I've never punched an oil filter before, and that just hurt my knuckles. But I don't give a damn, because it's off. Ugh. Yes. So, he shared that live experience. I always call it live, it's not live. But look at that. It's a genuine Peugeot oil filter. A nice Citroen badge as well. But it's a pig. It's a pig, and a new Bosch one's going to go on, and it's going to be wonderful. And that means we can drop the car down, we can finish the oil change, and we can bleed the brakes. And oh, by God, we're so close to finishing this car now. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that was, I don't know how long it was, a minute and a half of rubbishness. But I'm going to do a separate video on this, kind of a clickbaity video on this thing, because it's brilliant. And it's got a lifetime guarantee. And I think it's probably the only tool you'll ever need for the hard to budge oil filters. I will show you the oil filter in question. It's slightly embarrassing, but in my defence, I've seen lots of videos online from American people with biceps as big as their pickup trucks, struggling with the same issue. I'm very rusty since I took it off, but that is a result of my hap-handedness and ham-fistedness. Yeah, I'm going to keep that forever, because once this 406 Coupe is on the road, that's going to be the reminder of what a tough job it's been for an amateur like me. There it is. Majestic. Kind of Kate Bush style. Like, ooh. Moving on from Kate Bush to matters of rubber. The two aren't linked, although maybe in my dreams. But anyway, what happened there? Did that just go on magic zoom or something? There we go. Oh my God, that's gone far out, dude. It's quite clever though. Look at that. Ooh. Here's the old rubbers. Here's the old exhaust rubbers. They've seen better days. It does have one UV exhaust. I'm cheating a little bit because it only held up with one. It doesn't need another two. But it got it off the ground, and it means that when I do move this car this weekend, I'm just going to push it because obviously I can't start it because of the alternator belt. At least I can push it and it won't drag its ass on the floor. And I'm going to bring the auto sole out and get that looking good. So that's that'll be another job ticked off the list. The list is getting shorter. The to-do list is improving all the time. Feeling slightly more positive about things, I have to say. Maybe that's false positive. So what's left to do? Well, obviously the alternator belt, or getting the alternator, so the tensioner sorted out is priority number one, if you like. Breed the Blakes. That sounds like a kind of genetic experiment. How do we breed more Blakes? Can you name 5 famous Blakes? Blake 7. Howard Blake. Noel Blake, was he a footballer? I'm struggling after that. It will come to me as soon as I put this video away to sleep. So that's on the list. Putting the bumper back on. This weekend's job, I think. Get that jumper. Get the jumper. I'm so rubbish at this thing. I'll tell you what, people like Ian Seabrook and Steph Holloway make it look so easy, and it's not. Well, it probably is if you're not a muppet like me. Good news, all of the original fixtures and fittings are still available from Peugeot. Look at these. So everything I need to put the bumper back in place, I have some sort of spare aftermarket bits as well. And Mervyn at the Peugeot dealer even found these, which are obsolete, and he found them on the shelf, and they are the bits for sticking the foam back in between the bumper and the car. So that was a bit of a find. If anyone needs a couple spare, let me know, and I shall put them in the post. So once the bumper back on, once that's done, once the brakes have been bled, I got it wrong again there, didn't I? I can't remember. Once the brakes have been bled, why do I bother? The next job is to get a new set of tyres on her. I think once the tyres are on, centre cap's back in place, just consulting my book of waffleness, I think that's it. Then it'll be a case of the really fun bit, which is tidying her back up again and cleaning her and preparing her for MOT. I'm going to be doing a sort of a temporary job on the rust to improve it and just make the car look as presentable as I can before it goes for its MOT. And there'll be still stuff to do once it's back from the MOT test station, with or without a certificate. In the ideal world, it comes back. I mean, let's face it, it's not going to come back with a clean certificate. It's going to need more work that I haven't noticed. But yeah, it's almost there, isn't it? Is that misplaced optimism? Who knows? I'm going to cut it short. I'm not going to waffle on. Thanks for all your support. I have got some of the best YouTube viewers in the world, I think. So thank you. I'm not over-egging that either. I do appreciate you guys. You kept me going in the dark hours. So I'll also, big thanks. I will thank you in the next video, but massive thanks to all the people that have re-signed for Club Petroblog for 2021-2022. Loads of new tats discs have gone in the post this weekend. I think they just arrived in Ohio. Hello, Darren. They're on their way to Colombia. All around the world. So Club Petroblog is your chance to show your appreciation for this rubbish channel, and also, there's prize draws, membership discounts, and I am looking into getting the website optimised so members don't see any more ads, which I think would be again a positive of membership. Anyway, I am definitely digressing now. Many thanks for keeping me sane. More videos to come. In the meantime, thanks for watching and stay safe.